It says it's abandoned the ceasefire agreed more than 50 years ago at the end of the Korean War and could launch military action against South Korea. The communist state is angry after South Korea joined a US initiative to search ships for weapons of mass destruction. Tension is already high in the region after North Korea carried out more nuclear tests. John Sudworth reports from Seoul.
Aircraft with sophisticated monitoring equipment have been spotted at this airbase in Japan. It's thought they may be collecting radiation samples from North Korea's nuclear test earlier this week. The isolated military regime has received widespread condemnation, but it is continuing to raise the stakes. For more than half a century, troops from wealthy South Korea have been patrolling one of the world's most heavily fortified borders. On the other side, soldiers from the communist north do the same.
Seoul, capital of South Korea.
The Korean War ended in a stalemate and an armistice that split the country in two. Today, North Korea has announced that it is abandoning that truce.
They've got the capacity to follow up their words. They have, for example, a large amount of artillery pointing straight at the heart of Seoul, the South Korean capital. But of course the big question is whether they've got the political will to do so, to take an act which would probably bring about the end of their own regime.
Meanwhile, the United Nations Security Council has been discussing how to deal with North Korea's nuclear test, including the possibility of new sanctions.
We share a common set of objectives, which are to convey very clearly and unequivocally that the actions by North Korea run counter to the interests of regional peace and security, violate international law, and need to be dealt with directly and seriously.
The announcement from the North that it no longer respects the ceasefire that ended the Korean War is bound to cause deep public concern here in the South. The question now is whether this is a serious threat or simply more angry rhetoric. John Sudworth, BBC News, Seoul.
The time is coming up to 1:15. Our top story this lunchtime. A car bomb in the Pakistan